It's been said a bard's life can often be a hard life, or hill and jail to rove and always move from town to town. And some folk have inquired if ever we grow tired of ranging all around the world and never settling down.
But one should be a little wary of remaining stationary, 'cause comfortable is lovely, but it's not the way we grow. When life starts to unravel, pick up your pack and travel. You'll find a strange serenity in places you don't know. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-rat-terry-o-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. You've got no map for showing which direction you are going.
But why start on a journey if you know where it will end?
And once you recognize,
to anticipate surprise, you'll relish every twist and turn that lies around the bend. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-da-terry-o-dee-da-dee-da-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-lie-da-lie. The world has got its demons. There are many reasons why you'd find it harder to be brave than be afraid. But every life could use some danger. Every friend was once a stranger. Ships are safe in harbor, but that's not why ships are made.
Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-da-terry-o-dee-da-dee. A fwit-da-dee-da-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Adventures waiting further down the road. Let's go! Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Now I'm in the show. Hello, can you see me? How about now? I know Quad Kevin is out there. Is anybody else out there? This is me once a month trying to remember how this whole thing works. Hey, friend, how are you? I wanted to acknowledge that last month after the show, I know that you had reached out about helping me transport all my stuff that got shipped to Paulo, and I apologize for never even getting it together to acknowledge that you're trying to help me. This month has been a hell of a year. This week has been a hell of a month. But thank you so much. And at this point, I think that we may see Paulo in a week or two or something. Who else is here? We got, is it Dolly Mago? Dolly Mago? How do I pronounce that? I would love to know. Hey, London. Hi, Sally. I see you. Great. Yeah. Yes. One hell of a month year for sure. I only ran, it turns out that the StreamYard has multiple intros for this show, and I was tempted to just run through all of them because it's funny to me, especially that last one, which Nina Lee made, and it's so lovely, but it's so sophisticated as I'm like plinking away with my ukulele, behind it. It was very funny to me. It's like creating amazing expectations before you arrive here to just got out of the garden, Mom. Hi, everybody. It is I, Madame Ansa, and I'm your tarot reader, and I am your oracle reader this evening, and just your general all around yours. So, as always, this show is really something that I do for the Nat 21 family more than anything. If anybody else is new here, hello, of course, welcome, bienvenue. But yeah, I'm here for you. I brought my ukulele. I've got some instruments and some different decks that I need to work with today. And I have this lovely gin and tonic, which I have definitely earned because, again, this week has been a lot. And yeah, and it's delicious because I put a ton of mint in it. So it tastes like the garden. London says, good news. I just got the digital proofs for the cat poems. I'll probably be sending them to you shortly. That is amazing. That is so great. It's up to you, London, but if you want, I can actually give you the address of where they will eventually end up if you want to send them there. If you want to send them to me first in Awesome Town so I can, look at them and everything before I arrive in North Carolina, that's fine. It's up to you. Let me know. Otherwise, I can find you in the Discord and send you the address that everything gets shipped to closer to the festival. Sally says, we were in a car coming home from yet another meeting. I assume by meeting, you mean like a Viking community thing or a Ren Fair thing. Let us know. Let us know what you're up to. I am, in fact, here to do cards for you guys, but I wanted to share with you something humorous that is in process for me right now. Boop, boop. And this is to say I am not Lady Prue, who, of course, is, an epic, like, trained magician, etc. Scouts. Oh, really? Okay, well, London, if you're excited about them and you want to get them to me first, that's great. I think you probably have our address. If not, then, just boop me in the booper and we'll make it work. Dolly Mago, you have ads. What does that mean? I don't know. All right, this is the thing I'm working on. Okay, so what had happened, my friends, was that, as you may have heard somewhere through the, sort of ecosystem, Paulo was home a week and a half ago, and that was great. But he ended up needing to spend about a day and a half dealing with the dishwasher, which it was inordinately complicated, needed to be taken out. He tried to repair it, tried to snake everything, tried to take it out. We tried to buy one. They sent us the wrong one, but only after we had unpackaged it. So we had to repack it, take it to the store. It continues. So the other night, Paulo's brother, who is basically like the military version of him, same mannerisms, they talk the same way. Apparently, they even do wiring the same way because at 10:30 at night, my brother-in-law came over to take the dishwasher out because it is broken and needs to be returned. And he got here pretty late. And I was like, my hostessing powers are limited at this hour, friend, but you get to watch the sausage be made. So while he was on the floor pulling out the dishwasher of doom and remarking that his brother even does electrical the same way he does, I was working on this song that you've probably heard, and you've probably heard done better by Prue. No fortune found, nor fate divine, come close to topping the juice of the vine. With cherry crew we sip and sway. Let's tip the tankard and waste the day. Ria, well you can, our toils can wait for a time. We saw the folly of men who rather than revel repine. So maybe that sounds familiar. Took me a minute to find a ukulele-friendly version. I'll do 2 more little bits and then we'll get to cards. The gift of song, the gift of life, is wasted on the spirit of strife. But fill your glass and join the fray, get wasted on the sap of the grape. Rira, well you can, our toils can wait for a time. We saw the folly of men who rather than revel repine, who rather than revel repine. Hey, Sir David Percival, I thought you might be there in the car as well. Ambrosia that we're told was rare is easily found without a care. So come ye all, fair and true, and drink your fill from dusk till noon. Ria, well ye can, our toils can wait for a time. We saw the folly of men who rather than revel repine. So that's what I've been trying to learn in the last 48 hours or something like that. What I wish I knew that I could do was remember all of the words. The chords, not so hard. And I've been thinking about the song all day. I was doing chicken hour going, hee-haw, do-do-do-do, diddle-diddle. Remembering the words is the difference between an awkward tribute and actually covering it. Thank you, Quad Kevin. That's what I'm working on right now. I will be performing, teaching vending, and also performing at Key City Steampunk, which happens, I want to say, in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, in August. I will be doing a show there, a 3-woman cabaret with Crystal Younglove, who I just did the Furies Fun Time Variety Show with, and Mab Just Mab is our new guest star performer. So it'll be the 3 of us doing some kind of a hoodly how. It'll be some kind of a good time. We haven't come up with a clever name for it yet, but yep, Gettysburg. It's a good time. If you like steampunk events and you want to be at a convention setting that's not too huge, some of the classes are great. Some of the classes are fine. The vendors are good. The event is quite chill. The bands and the general esprit de corps is really good, I would say. And sometimes when I go there, I get to see the Gloom Master and Handler Z as well, because it's kind of close to where they are. So maybe I'll see you there and you'll get to see Mabo Jabbo and I do a show. The theme, by the way, of Key City Steampunk this year is basically the Adventurers Guild. It's the D&D year. So that'll be fun. Hence, I needed to do that song. Sir David Percival says, have to look at the dates. Might be able to make a day this year. That would be great. Our show is probably Saturday night, but I'll let you know if you want to catch that. And I think it's like August 11th, right about there, something like that. So on to the business of cartomancy. Oh, incidentally, I don't know if they'll take it, but I pitched a panel to them because it is the year of the adventurer at Key City. You know, I usually teach some tarot classes and they're well attended, but I wanted to do something a little different this year and a little more inclusive because there are a number of great historical authors, fiction writers, other artists, tarot people, and so forth. So I suggested to them the idea of a panel on omens and divination throughout history, both factual and fantastical, as in an opportunity to talk about people like Carl Jung, who used the I Ching every single day of his adult life. Queen Elizabeth, who, of course, and the Reagans, who made their political choices based on astrology. There's, you know, the omen, of course, that Constantine allegedly saw that, you know, made him make everyone become Christian. There's lots of interesting moments in history where omens and divination play a part in it. And then, of course, many folks, such as myself, use tarot cards and similar runes and so forth in our daily lives. So it's a modern tradition as well. And then, of course, this notion of a meeting with the oracle, symbols, signs, and so forth is such a such a tool frequently used in science fiction and fantasy. Of course, you think of the Oracle and the Matrix. There's so many places where this notion that we like to have, that there's some sort of underlying threads that we can trace in the universe. So I thought it'd be fun to do a panel with all of these diverse artists, authors, and historians about the place that the divinatory arts, the mystic arts, have had throughout history, in the contemporary life, and as a major plot point in most of the things that we enjoy. So maybe I'll get to do that. If so, I'll let you know. Quad Kevin says, does it overlap with the PA Fair? I think that it does. It's been a number of years since I did PA, so I don't remember. It might be right before it starts. I'm not sure. I think we started no, maybe it doesn't, because we started doing Key City because it was like the one weekend in August that we had off right before it starts. Yes. And then now, of course, we do Gen Con before that. So thank you. There's the research team out there making it happen. So on the subject of cards, I was hoping to do some reading or some teaching tonight for people, whatever they want. I am going to be reading and vending at the Krampus Con, which is in Bremerton, Washington, in a few weeks. I know it's very funny to do Krampus events in May, but of course you can't do them in December because you're already busy doing Krampus events. So they have asked me to come and be part of what they call the Woo Woo Walk, which I love, just taking ownership of that, the idea that you shouldn't take these things too seriously. And they've asked me to read and to read from my Yuletide Monsters Oracle. So while we are out of the usual Yuletide Oracle season, if anybody wants some cards read tonight, I do need to refresh my memory about how this stuff works. Also, if anyone is familiar with tasseography, which is the reading of tea leaves, that is something I am boning up on right now, and I'd love to talk to somebody. Oh, London, it's close to you and you still can't go. It is like on an island, so it's going to be very interesting. My traveler friend and I, Nicole Pisaniello, who did the art for our eventually to be released D&D module that's coming out, the art of Nicole Pisaniello, she and I need to fly to Seattle and then get to the ferry and then take a ferry for an hour to Bremerton, apparently, and the con is on the island. So that sounds like a long slog travel-wise, but I'm an island girl, and I'm excited to be in an island town. Oh, John Caro says, don't they start every Super Bowl with a coin flip? Do they? I've literally never seen this Super Bowl, the Superb Owl. I've never seen it in my life. But if that's true, that is amazing. And Quad Kevin says, I love doubling, tripling up my fair trips. I've seen you do that in New Orleans, where you did everything that we had on offer and then still went out and found other things to do. Very impressive. And Sir David Percival, starting runes soon. Coin flip to decide which team goes first. I mean, I guess you have to decide somehow. Wow, that's crazy. I had no idea. I wonder if they bother strategize, like, and if we go first, it's this. If they go first, like, I guess they must spend millions of dollars of consulting time building a contingency plan for that, right? Because I assume if you play chess, you know what color goes first. It's probably predetermined. I also don't know anything about sports chess, except for what I saw in Queen's Gambit. The abundance of mint in this is amazing. And the best part is it's upcycled mint, because Carmel, our prior Metatron, had me meet her in a tiki bar I'd never been in before. And the other night to talk about the Fringe Festival and all the various things. And they served us a giant drink in a clamshell, a huge clamshell that had so much mint in the top, it looked like a whole planting that you would find at Lowe's. And we drank the drink, and then I also capped the mint. Well, friends, anybody want any cards read tonight, or do I just work my way through these cards? It's nice to hold them. It is strange that it's such a thin deck. Being an Oracle deck, this deck, ooh, fancy silver sides, only has 40 cards. Maybe we'll just poke our way through while I get reacquainted with some of the meanings. Many of you, of course, are familiar with my good old friend here, Saint Nick. I'm a big fan. went through much of my life kind of having a venomous antipathy for Santa Claus, who I found very judgmental and invasive, watches you all the time, shows up in your house, judges you. I did not love that about him. But once I learned more about his history and all the people that he's the patron saint of, such as wolves, sailors, orphans, and prostitutes, I developed a much softer spot for him. And in fact, I carry some of the oil that seeps from his bones. I carry it in my wallet at all times. Okay. Sir David, you would appreciate it. Do you have a specific question? I don't need to know it, but it would be useful if you know it, or, just a general area of sort of influence in life. You think about that, and I will poke through here and see if there's any other cards that pop up right now for me. So many cards now in this deck, as compared to a tarot deck, rather than having the prince and princess, queen and king, or page and prince, queen and king, that sort of thing, we just have two stations, the apprentice and the master. The Oracle deck is intended to sort of give you things in shorthand. So the apprentice obviously describes the learning curve, the process, the courage to strive to master the suit that is referred to, in this case, scissors, being very much a running with scissors. Actually, also runs with scissors used to be one of my nicknames. This notion of scissors as a tool for making a clean cut and asserting clean parameters. So the apprentice of scissors is all about learning how to negotiate one's boundaries. You do have a question in mind. All right. If that's the case, let's dive in, my friend. Take a big breath in if you can, Sir David. Just getting everything shuffled here. All right, this little oracle. I'm going to let this light shine. Pull some cards for my friend here. Okay, so we're going to pull 3 cards, friend, and see what we get. I'm working with a different method of picking than I usually do. Okay, going for 3. All right, and number 3. What else do we have in mind for my friend here? Nope. Okay, we're going to see what these 3 have to say. The Ace of Swords, the 6 of Switches, and the Master of Chisore, scissors. So the first thing we notice, friend, is you have a preponderance of switches. In this Oracle deck, the switches are the suit of Krampus. Of course, as many of these sort of Yuletide and folkloric spirits are, his job is to ensure that the punishment fits the crime, that the deeds and their consequences fit together. So we find ourselves with the Ace, and I will show you the art in a moment. The Ace is the beginning of a project, an idea, usually a passion project. Could be a side hustle, business-wise, could be literally building a garden, doing a renovation, but it is definitely about getting in there and getting your hands, so to speak, dirty, because this is all about fire, passion, drive, and getting things moving in the world. So interestingly, because these cards only go Ace to 6, you actually have the beginning and the end, sort of the alpha and the omega. I'm going to say in this case, that probably bodes well for your project, whatever it is that you are, whatever situation it is that you're sort of inculcating right now, because you've got that strong initial impulse to get things moving. And then the 6 is that it's the full flowering. Again, it's really about getting the full result. What you've put in, you're getting back. And the art on them is really fun. Now you also have the Master of Scissors. Interestingly, since I showed you the Apprentice of Scissors only moments ago, scissors are akin to swords in Tarot. It is air. It is communication. It is certainly boundaries. It is making a clean break of things, learning to use, maintain, master your tools. That you've got the Master in this consequence. I'm going to say that means that, again, it bodes well for whatever it is that you're up to, friend, because these very much tell a story of there's an idea, a drive, an impulse, a yearning, burning desire to make something happen. There is getting out there and doing the dirty work. In this case, the dirty work is literally stuffing bad children into a cauldron, as I'll show you in a moment. And the Master of Scissors, that is depicted here by the Perchta, that fascinating mountain bird goddess in her sort of crony, I told you this is what would happen because I have lived and I have learned and I am wise. And there's a sort of ghost bird behind her as well. So this is somebody going, you know what? I think I can do it. I think I can make it happen. Now we've got the 6, which is I made a plan and now I have, we'll call it dinner because I did all the intervening steps. Hi, I don't even know who that is. Hi, Nat 21. Who are you? And then here we see the Master. This is literally the little old crone saying, if you follow the steps, if you follow my steps, you will succeed. It's a 2-step program called Do What I Said and You'll Succeed. So, yeah, I'm not sure what it is that you're up for, David Percival. And if you feel like you need another card, oh, hey, you guys, if you need me to clarify anything, let me know. Okay, meanwhile, we've got London saying, what would you say the biggest difference is between reading with an Oracle deck versus a tarot deck? It's an excellent question. The problem, the challenge that is endemic to Oracle decks, if you choose to read with them, is that they have no consistency. Hello, Axio. Oh, I love you. Hi. That there's no consistency. Every Oracle deck is basically someone somewhere saying, I have an idea for a cartomantic system. Maybe it's a system. Maybe it's just a series of crazy pictures that you can use to interpret in your own way. Tarot, by definition, is a system. It's like building a house. They're specific. If you peel away the images and just hold the idea of the cards, you can still see the structure of the house of tarot. Like it's specifically made of rooms. It's specifically made of concepts. All decks have certain things in common. You can change the art, you can change the time period, but those things remain constant. You can follow the building code. Oracle decks are like, I just like cats. So mine is more structured than most because I have spent 30 years doing tarot, and I can't even with a absolute spaghetti on the wall deck. There are some great ones, don't get me wrong, but that's just not how my brain does this kind of work. So that being said, if you want to get a really freewheeling sort of Oracle deck, again, it's really, with Oracle decks, it's about finding the art that you like. And if there's a book, just maybe get a look into it and see if the language speaks to you. You know, is it speaking to the kind of questions that you have in mind? Is it too old school? Is it heteronormative? Is it really focused on positivity and that's what you need? Is it really about saying, I don't know, what do you see in the cards? So with Oracle decks, you just figure out what works for you. Whereas Tarot, you're moving into hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of systems that already exist. And then you are letting your intuition flourish. I hope that clarifies it. All right. Sir David Percival says, that is about right for what I have been doing lately and starting to do in both personal and professional life. I would think so. I clearly, I know you. I know both you Eldridges, and you are driven people. When you commit to something, you're really in it. You really make the commitment to show up for it, for the people, to show up for the communities that you're invested in to show up for the craft of whatever it is that you're deciding to do with your hands creatively. So I can see in there the arc of dare to do it, dare to succeed, allow yourself to pat yourself on the back. What does Axio have to say? Love you too. You're working on that stuff for Abs Fest. Oh, health issues have made it take longer. I'm so sorry, friend. If you have time, I would love for you to pull a single card from the Yuletide deck for some self-reflection. Of course. Hello, you too. Okay, yes. And before I do that, I just want to say hi, Paulo. Hi, Zoran. Miss you guys. It's going to be a little weird this weekend because this weekend coming up is Paulo and Mai's wedding anniversary. And look, it looks like I'm pulling a tear. Really, it's just cat hair. But he's spending our anniversary with Zoran and Shakespeare. So if you can fill in for me, I don't know, maybe like try to get him up early to make you coffee. I don't know, like see if you can like make him look at your hair flowers to see if they're symmetrical. Is Z going to be at NJRF? I don't know the answer to that. That would be a Paulo question because those two are thick as thieves these days doing shows together. So I'm not even quite caught up when we're going to have our pal Zoran with us. They might be ready to go home for a month, having been out on the road with Paulo for a couple months. All right, Axio, my friend, I would like you to take a big breath in. I assume that this is self-reflection for you rather than for me. So if so, take a big breath in, and I'm just going to try to find that card for you. Oh, I really want to pull every card. Oh, I think it's in there. Already chatted with Shakespeare. All right, my friend, you got the Yule Lads. Now, the thing about the Yule Lads, they are super fun. You may be familiar with them from, either from Myth or from Sabrina Teenage Witch, where they make an appearance, or other places. Gryla, the Ogress. These are her sons, of which she has many. I was always told there was 12. Maybe there's 13. There's a bunch of them. And they have crazy names: Spoonlicker, Sheep Stealer. The thing about them is that at best, they are sort of chaos monkeys. They are allowing yourself to improvise a little, to get off the script a little, to be a little spontaneous. Like, well, I don't know. What if we get the food we never order? What if we go to the place we don't usually go to? What if I talk to the interesting people at the party that I normally wouldn't dare to talk to? Like, there's an element of bravery and Dilligaff. Like, do I look like I give a fuckness, as it were? In the Yule Lads at their best. Hi. Oh, did you miss it? Do you get to hear it, or was I talking during your whole ad? Let me know if I need to go back. The other thing about the Yule Lads, so at their best, they are about being spontaneous, adventurous, fun, chaos monkeys. At their most sort of extreme or potentially dangerous iteration, that is taking a joke too far. That is sort of going right past fun and whimsical, right into sort of extreme and crazy. Perhaps crazy isn't the word I should use, but extreme and ill-conceived adventures with difficult consequences. Okay, so this card says, be brave, talk to people you don't normally talk to, eat food you don't normally eat, make brave choices, because these guys are all about spontaneity and whimsy and sort of breaking with tradition, letting yourself do things you don't normally do. Go take a pole dancing class, paint your toenails hot pink, like whatever it is you don't normally do. Feel free to let yourself have some creative latitude. At its best, that's what it is. At its worst, sometimes they are like, maybe you're so unused to getting to be wild and crazy that you find yourself kind of like, I said the wrong thing. I did the wrong thing. Sometimes you could find yourself just like having gone a little further than you meant to. And that is part of what they're trying to say. Like, you don't know what is too much until you let yourself off the chain a little bit. So these cards invite self-reflection on the theme of courage, whimsy, adventure, slapstick humor, even, being a little wild and crazy and spontaneous. But at its worst, it is taking something too far. So it is inviting you to sort of move your way through all of the different Yule lads and figure out what feels like a new level of spontaneity and adventure that you can enjoy that doesn't, accidentally burn down the whole village. So that's what our one little card says. There's our Yule lads. Boop-a-doo. Yes, so the Yule lads is this card. Boop. They are part of the sort of superstar Icelandic family of Christmas monsters, because you've got Gryla, who is their mother. She is a super sexy baby-eating ogress. She doesn't just eat babies. She's also eaten at least one of her husbands. So, she does spread the love around. She definitely goes for what she wants. These are her children. And then, of course, they have the Yule cat, the Jólakötturinn, as I pronounce it, even though I don't know any Icelandic. The big old Yule cat, the giant cat that comes down out of the glaciers and passes judgment on kids in their relationship to new clothes for winter. It's all one family. They're like the sort of murderous Kennedys of Icelandic folklore. So, if we're determined to get behind having some sort of royal family, I'll say, let's bring them back. It'd be safer than some of the other options. I see Nat 21 saying, wow, thank you, Kevin, for all the subs. Ooh, I want one. I would like an Italian sub, please. Oh, you guys, the mint makes this so good. Makes it worth having. As ever, nobody's ever required to throw in. If you want to throw in, Nina Lee put all my PayPal, Venmo information and so forth up there. It's appreciated, but you know what? The world is constricting around some of us right now as art supplies become more expensive and things like that due to what's happening in the world. So, if you can, great. If you can't, it all comes out in the wash. I feel like this community works very hard to try to support each other. So, yeah. Let's see, what else do I have in here? Oh, there's a picture of Gryla. You can see she's got like something mysterious in the bag, so to speak. She's definitely in it to have it, whatever it is. Axio says, I feel like that was the perfect card. I was wanting to reflect on what I was working on for AbsFest. Yes. And it makes me feel a bit more confident in my theming, I guess. Oh, that's great. Yeah, no, this definitely encourages you to, again, let the beast off the chain a little bit. Have a little Zoolander moment for anybody who let the tiger out of the cage, if you're old enough to remember that delightful reference. There's the Gryla. What else do we want to talk about in here? We've already seen her and her. Sometimes I look at these like, oh, right, I made all this. Here's La Befana. La Befana is, of course, the Italian Christmas witch, as she is sometimes known. And she, as you can see on the hill, we see there's what is clearly a creche or a precipe, as they call it in, or precepe, as they call it in Italian. A little nativity scene going on up there. She's got her broom, she's got her sensible shoes, and she's got a bag of presents. So when it comes to, folklorically speaking, when it comes to the delivery of gifts, lots of different cultures have lots of different things. In some places, it's literally the baby Jesus flies around. Very busy child. Little baby Jesus flies around delivering gifts. In some places, it's Saint Nick, who we talked about a little earlier. Love it, everyone. We're out at dinner, but now my phone is going to die. Bye, honey. Love you. You're the best. Bye, Zoran. So in some places, it may be Knecht Ruprecht, who looks sort of like a mad monk, like a Rasputin type. So there's lots of different folks show up to deliver lots of different presents, lots of different ways. They're in your shoes, they're in your stockings, they're up the chimney. They come on December 5th. They come on December 21st. They come on December 25th. They come for Epiphania, which is January 6th. So even the day of gift giving in these traditions is definitely not fixed. And so La Befana was very popular in Italy for a long time. And again, the Christmas witch, sometimes known as the Sicilian witch, although as far as I can tell, she actually originates much further up in sort of central Italy. Weirdly, Mussolini mandated her as the official Christmas witch of Italy because he wanted to ban Saint Nicholas, who he considered a foreigner since he's from what is now Turkey. So he's like, Italy doesn't do that. Italy, when we do our superstition, we do it nationalistically. So she was always a part of the tradition, and then she became a mandatory tradition. So I suspect, having been in Italy for Christmas a couple times, you see just as much Santa Claus now, like you see it everywhere. And literally in the town that St. Nicholas is buried, you see her, you see him. We just ate some chocolate. St. Nicholas is actually the other day that we had gotten at Christmas. So she's from all around. But what does that mean for you as a person using this deck? I'm going to look it up. I want to make sure I get my words. Oh, right. So the thing about her, she got this job of being the Christmas witch because she was busy. They say she's house proud. She was busy cleaning her place. And the three wise men showed up and were like, hey, lady, we're going to go see this baby Jesus. It's supposed to be really cool. Do you want to come? And she was like, I am busy. I have very important things to do, clearly. And so they left. And then she was like, oh, damn it. What am I talking about? Like, I could do the dishes tomorrow. Why am I so prideful that I would get in my own way? Why would I prevent myself from participating in real magic, like truly authentic, amazing experiences, because of getting caught up in the bullshit, basically? And so she ran after them, but she did not catch them. And presumably she had another name before she was La Befana, because La Befana means Epiphany, which is literally the day of the Three Kings, and it's the day she delivers presents. So she, the eponymous La Befana, she is the Lady of Epiphany. And so she's been chasing them ever since, bringing presents to babies. So this says, the Christmas witch counsels you to beware pridefulness that may lead to regrets. Seek redemption through great generosity. Victorian London Fog says, a broom, sensible shoes, and a bag of presents. Right? I know. And like, in the art too, it's like the nativity's happening, and that's very nice. There's people over there having their magic moment with the angels and all that stuff, but like, it's happening over there, but it's not like your job. Which given the crazy month that I'm having, like the idea of like awesome things happening that you can like opt into and out of, but not be 100% responsible for. Like, she didn't make the baby Jesus. She's just trying to give him presents, and therefore is sort of living a fulfilling life of generosity. That sounds great. Although I would have liked to have gotten into the manger to see the animals. What else is going on? La Befana. All right. What else is going on in here? We've got, I'm just pulling out cards at random to get myself refreshed in my memories. All right. The Julebak. Some of you are familiar with this art. I believe it is a Swedish tradition. From what I have read, it dates back probably to like Thor having goats pulling his sled, chariot, whatever. I know not everyone loved the movie with the Taika Waititi movie with him and the goats, but honestly, I was there specifically to see the goats, so I was happy every time. No takebacks, because Thor had these goats, these amazing goats that could pull his sled or chariot or whatever it was, probably sleigh, through anywhere, any realm, et cetera, and they had amazing names and they were big and terrifying. So the Swedish folks started making giant ones out of straw and similar materials and calling them the Yulebach for the Yule holiday, which of course is, we all talk about Yule as if it was everybody's word, but that is of course specifically more of a Norse term for that time of year. And at some point they had to pass a law that was like, thou shall not burn down the giant goat because it's a really cool bonfire, but you can't do it without supervision. So that's kind of hilarious. And so people started making little teeny tiny ones and hiding them around their houses, kind of like an Easter egg hunt. You find them on Christmas trees. I love them. Oh, and Gat Tooth and Tooth Grinder. They pull his cart and serve his travel food. Oh, right, because he keeps eating them and then they come back. Tangrisnir and Tangnoster. I'm sure that's not exactly how it's supposed to sound. Amazingly, I am part Swedish. You think I could just know how to say those things. London said, I came back in the Epiphany card. I wonder if that's a sign. Yeah, it's the sign of enlightenment. Like we use Epiphany to say, like, Eureka, I had a great idea. Of course, in a religious context, specifically the Epiphany, if I remember, isn't that when the Virgin Mary was like, oh, I'm having a baby? I'm a virgin. How did that work out? I think that's what the Epiphany was. So it's like, not just a I understand everything moment, but it's also a wait, what moment? Correct me if I'm wrong. I have to say, I've always assumed that's what Epiphany was. And I don't know everything. Well, let me know. I want to see what this also says about the Yulebach. So normally, like I wrote a much bigger book for this, of course, but for publishing and practicality purposes, this only has this little teeny tiny thing. So I had to cut my enormous amount of material and research down to just little snippets. And you guys are working with me today to make sure that it is current in my mind. Servant of Thor, the harbinger of luck, protection, comedy, fortune, and great cheer are coming at you, presumably as well as a full belly. The Yulebach. It's funny, when I started working in the sort of Krampus Yuletide monster community, nobody ever talked about it. But I think it's really started to come into its own as being recognized as a really fun part of the Yuletide season. And people probably enjoy the fact that it does have specifically pre-Christian roots, whereas like La Befana, we don't know. Maybe there was some sort of a solstice type witch that was already there, but I've never seen anything that anything about La Befana that appears to be pre-Christian. Of course, you know, Catholicism has been settled in Italy for a long time, so they've had lots of time to root things like that out. But it's nice to see something that explicitly comes from outside the tradition. London says, mnemonic to memorize the order of the planets. Mary's virgin explanation made Joseph suspect upstairs neighbor. What? So when Pluto was still invited to the party, what was the last word? Mary's virgin explanation made Joseph suspect upstairs neighbors. I know what I was thinking. What are you thinking? That's incredible. How did I not know that? It's fantastic. What else do we have in here? We already talked about St. Nick. We got about 15 more minutes today. We're pretty buried over here between dealing with the dishwasher, the kittens, getting ready for KrampusCon. And then 2 weeks after that, it's the next thing, which is the Burlesque Festival. And then soon I will see some of you in New Jersey. London said it was made after Pluto wasn't a planet. Really? I was going to say Mary's virgin explanation made Joseph suspect upstairs neighbors' plan. But then, of course, I realized there were other intentions. I don't know. Premonitions. I feel like there's got to be a better way. Let's talk about the two of wassail cups, Pingus. So, cups, of course, in here, they're the wassail cups. They're the cups, just as in the tarot, where we've got this notion of something that speaks to our emotional life. Clearly, there's some sort of closeness and intimacy suggested here between these creatures. These are Mariloids. They are the skeleton wrap horses of Wales, as people popularly like to call them. They are horse skulls, mounted on sticks. Modern ones are often made so that their jaws, they have springs. They actually bounce up and down. Its jaw can smack. So it looks like it's singing, and its jaws will sort of crash together in time with music and bells. They're adorable and rather heavy. I have a horse skull on a stick. It's big. It's not a casual thing to carry in a parade. So as you can see in the two, this is already Wassail Cups is already about our emotional life and our relationality. And of course, because the Māori Lloyd as a sort of patron spirit, as it were, in the Yuletide season is definitely all about getting people together. It's one of the few spirits that's not specifically here to give you presents or give you punishments. Its job is really hospitality. Its job is to encourage people. It's basically what's the word I'm looking for? Like the human resource mechanism that's like, let's all do trust falls, everyone. Let's do some outward bound activities. Its job is to get groups of people together. It does that by engaging in a humorous and combative relationship with you, but it really serves to rally the community theoretically into sort of humorous rival parties that become one big community. And given how cold and wet and dark I imagine it is in the winter season in Wales, where it's from, I'm sure that they really needed that opportunity to leave their individual tiny little homes and come together. So what do we see when we check up on our friend? Playfulness, childlike wonder, emotional bravery, renewal of relationships, emotional availability, and connection. So you gotta love that. John Caro says, Philip lived upstairs from Mary and Joseph, but moved out after he had an epiphany. I think he invented Velcro. Oh, yes. You know, actually, we know that Vulcans invented Velcro. If Shakespeare was here, he would go on about that. They invented it and felt very strongly about allowing humans to have it. London says, have you ever done a punko? I don't know how to pronounce that. No, I haven't. I've been to Wales, but I've never been to Wales in that season. And honestly, even in Wales, because as you may recall, the United Kingdom, it's 4 countries contained in one country, as it were. And Wales is culturally distinct and has its own parliament. There are signs in English, but there's signs in Wales. Some people do speak Welsh, and the words are in fact indecipherable if you're not familiar with the language. But even within that little country, that little isthmus, as it were, of Wales, people have dialects within that and traditions within that. So the Māori Lloyd was really focused in one particular region, I believe on the sort of northish side of Wales. And so I have not gotten to be there during that time. The sort of Italo-American cut of our family means that during the winter season, if we're able to be away, we're usually in Italy. But one of these days I'm going to get to go to Bavaria for some Krampus and to Wales to see the Māori Lloyd in action. I just participate vigorously in the events that we have around us. And of course, weirdly, Bremerton, Washington will be full of Yuletide monsters come May 10th or whatever. Looks like I've got time to pull one more of these cards to talk about it today. What are we feeling? Are we feeling cats? Are we feeling witches? Are we feeling skeletons? Let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can fish out here as far as possible subjects. Thank you for working with me, everyone, as I get reacquainted with this material, which I haven't gotten to really think about in a minute. This is your card flipping ASMR. Witches. Skeletons. All right. Well, we've got one absolute, we've got, of course, lots and lots of horse skeletons in here. Incidentally, in Wales, it wasn't always a horse because the UK has a very diverse culture of what they call hobby horses or hobby hosses, and they are not always hosses. In some places, it would actually be a ram skull or whatever it is they had around, or sometimes it was just a cone made of felt. So when we say this is how it is in Wales, of course, that is a huge oversimplification. However, one thing that we do know, so much cat hair, is I just had it in my hand. Where'd you go, friend? That's the reverse of organizing yourself. Somebody that we know is truly skeletal. Come to me. It's always the last card you pull. There it is. The spirit of Christmas future. Known by many names, sometimes the ghost of Christmas future, sometimes the spirit of Christmas yet to come, skeleton. Also, if you're a Terry Pratchett fan, of course, it could also be Death with his amazing blue eyes and deep voice. So this card, well, this art, Death, exactly. Oh my gosh, if I ever make this again, remind me to include a little tiny death of rats for anybody who gets that reference. This is, of course, Scrooge is visited by 4 to 5 spirits, depending if you're watching the Muppet version, where it's Marley and Marley, not just Marley, so that they can have the hecklers. He's visited, the spirits do it all in one night. He's visited by his business partner or partners, and then, of course, this essentially the spirits who are there to represent his past, his present, and his future. And in the future, he sees this entity. It is the hooded figure. It is the bony skeletal finger. It is pointing at his grave. It is all that good stuff. Incidentally, one of our kids could not wait to be in Scrooge because they desperately wanted to do this part, and they did. It's like, I think they were just willing their fingers to be extra long so they could do that. Very on brand for our lad. Of course, the death card, or this notion of death. I mean, that's what he's saying. He's saying, everybody dies. Carpe dorcum. Scrooge, what you going to do? Seize the day. So this card, of course, when it comes up in a cheeky little way, says, perhaps, given that you are definitely going to die, maybe you should go through your time on Earth making life better for other people instead of worse. It's a novel concept, I know. So this card comes up generally to speak to personal transformation for the querent. It says something needs to go, something needs to be reborn, unless you really want to play it like that. The specter from the future requires you to consider the outcome of your choices and the life that you're living. Also mistletoe, because I always think that the best thing ever is the juxtaposition of a skeleton and mistletoe, because he's always smiling, but he can't really kiss you because he has no lips. The Muppet version truly is one of the best ones. I mean, I actually watched a professional historic costumer who said that the historical costuming in the Muppet Scrooge is actually some of the best historical costuming for any of the readily accessible Scrooges. Like, they really, really did their homework for the Muppets. Pretty impressive. And I had not caught that it was Robert Marley. That makes sense. It would be Bob Marley. Very nice. You always come up with the clever things. So when this card comes up, it says, how do you want to live? How do you want to live? How do you want to die? How do you want to be remembered? All of those things. But what does it mean for you now? It probably means that something in your life may want to shift to make way for more meaningful connections, opportunities, and actions as far as making life more better for more people. Yeah. Any other questions, everybody? Because I'm going to go back to taking care of everything in Awesome Town. If not very soon, we've got a few more minutes. You can hear my phone booping up here as the people are all asking me kid things. Boop. Are we good? Yes. That actually was a text from Paulo. So I appreciate you all letting me use this opportunity to get reacquainted with the material and let me play a little song for you. I will plan to continue to do this show the last Thursday of each month. Coming into the summer, of course, things get a little zany for us, but I have a feeling this summer is going to be zany for everybody. Thank you so much, London. Take care and be well, at least as well as possible. I know these times are crazy. I appreciate you taking time here with me tonight, and I hope it's been enjoyable. Now, this is the part where you watch my face move away from the comments and try to find all of the media assets so I can do a little thing called the outro. Bye.